Since there are 10 pronouns in Amharic, do you find it challenging to use the right pronoun in your greetings? Not anymore. By the end of this video, you will understand how pronouns are used in Amharic greetings. In my last video, I have discussed greetings and leave takings in Amharic. In today's brief lesson, we will continue part 2 of our discussion on how pronouns are used mainly in Amharic greetings. Additionally, towards the end of this video, I will give you a summary of mostly used vocabularies in Amharic greetings, which are very important, so make sure to stick to the end. To be on the same page, if you haven't seen the first video, please make sure to do so by clicking the link that will show up at the upper right corner now. Let's kickstart today's lesson. There are 10 pronouns in Amharic. Pronouns in Amharic are usually used for emphasis purpose only. Like when you greet someone, you have to adjust your greetings or leave takings according to the gender of the person that you're talking to. In such cases, we need to use Amharic pronouns as the gender, age, or status of the person needs to be emphasized. This means using the right pronoun is very important. Additionally, Amharic pronouns help us to reflect politeness and formality in our greeting. Generally, knowing when to use or omit Amharic pronouns could be a bit tricky, especially for a new learner. This can make you feel a bit intimidated at first, but don't worry, I will try to break things down to make them more understandable. From English language perspective, Amharic greetings make use of the present tense verb to be, for which the Amharic equivalent verb is mahon, mahon. So let's start from the first pronoun. For English pronoun I, the Amharic counterpart pronoun is ʻəne, and in this case the Amharic verb mohon becomes neng, nye. Example, ʻəne ደህና ነኝ, which directly means I am fine. By the way, you could simply say ደህና ነኝ. The only difference is that the first sentence, which is ʻəne ደህና ነኝ, contains ʻəne or I. We need to add I or ʻəne only when we are emphasizing that it is you who is fine. Otherwise, it's unnecessary to use it. This is because neng implicitly used here as I am. I hope you will understand the point that I tried to make here. Let's proceed to the next pronoun. In Amharic language, the English pronoun you can be represented by 3 different Amharic pronouns, which vary based on the individual's gender, age, or status. The first type of Amharic pronoun, which is comparable to the English pronoun you, when you is used to indicate male gender, is ante, ante, and the verb መሆን will be now ነህ, Example, አንተ ደህና ነህ, አንተ ደህና ነህ, which means are you fine? So here you imply male gender. That's why we use ante. The second type of Amharic pronoun, which corresponds to the English pronoun you when it is used to indicate female gender, is አንቺ, አንቺ. The verb መሆን in this case becomes ነሽ. Example, አንቺ ደህና ነሽ, which translates to are you fine? And now the pronoun you is used to imply female gender. That's why we use አንቺ. The third type of Amharic pronoun, which is comparable to the English pronoun you, is እርስዎ. And this is when you is used to indicate elderly person or someone who is in a higher status, like a pope or something. Here, the Amharic verb መሆን becomes ነዎት, Example, እርስዎ ደህና ነዎት, which also means are you fine, but implicitly referring to elderly people or person to show respect or politeness. So as you probably noticed by now, to say are you fine in Amharic, 3 different pronouns are used depending on what you points to. Let's proceed to the next. In Amharic, the counterpart to the English pronoun he is እሱ, and in this case the Amharic verb መሆን takes the form ነው, Example, እሱ ደህና ነው, This means he is fine. For the English pronoun she, the Amharic equivalent is እሷ, and now the Amharic verb መሆን can take 2 forms. One, ናት, or ነች, Example, እሷ ደህና ናት, or እሷ ደህና ነች, which simply means she is fine. As I already mentioned earlier, let's say someone is asking me if my wife is doing fine. In such case, I can simply say ደህና ነች or ደህና ናት by omitting እሷ, and it will still have same meaning. The other Amharic pronoun is እሳቸው. እሳቸው. It's used when we use he or she in a polite or a respectful way. Here, the Amharic verb መሆን becomes ናቸው. ናቸው. Example, እሳቸው ደህና ናቸው. እሳቸው ደህና ናቸው, which means he or she is fine, but we are implicitly referring to that person as elderly or someone who should be given some kind of respect. So that's why we used እሳቸው. The Amharic pronoun, which is equivalent to the English pronoun we, is እኛ. እኛ. And the Amharic verb መሆን will now become ነን. ነን. Example, እኛ ደህና ነን. እኛ ደህና ነን. And it translates to we are fine. The ninth Amharic pronoun is እናንተ. 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 It's used when the pronoun you is used in its plural form as you all. And the Amharic verb መሆን now becomes ናችሁ. ናችሁ. Example, እናንተ ደህና ናችሁ. እናንተ ደህና ናችሁ, which means are you all fine? The last Amharic pronoun is ጰነሱ. ጰነሱ, which is equivalent to the English pronoun they. In this case, the Amharic verb መሆን will be ናቸው. ናቸው. Example, እነሱ ደህና ናቸው. እነሱ ደህና ናቸው, which translates to they are fine. By now, I hope you understand how pronouns are used in Amharic greetings. Finally, I would like to quickly summarize the vocabularies that are mostly used in Amharic greetings and leave takings. I will put them in a table format so you will be able to take screenshots to memorize them later. ሰላምታ. ሰላምታ, which means greetings. መሰናበት. መሰናበት, which means leave takings. ደህና. ደህና, which means fine. እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን. እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን, which means praise be to God or praise God. ጤና ይስጥልኝ. ጤና ይስጥልኝ, which means may God grant you health. ደህና ናት. ደህና ናት, which means she is fine. ደህና ነው. ደህና ነው, which means he is fine. ደህና ነን. ደህና ነን, which means we are fine. ደህና ናቸው. ደህና ናቸው, which means they are fine. ጠዋት. ጠዋት, which means morning. ከሰዓት. ከሰዓት, which means afternoon. ምሽት. ምሽት, which means evening. ማደር. ማደር, which means to spend the night. መዋል. መዋል, which means to spend the day. ማምሸት. ማምሸት, which means to spend the evening. That's it for today, guys. How did you find the lesson? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep learning and practicing Amharic. Remember to like, share and subscribe for more Amharic lessons. Thank you for watching. Until our next lesson. Ciao.